Well, hey kids, Rio here. Welcome back to the channel. Today is Wednesday, so today, of course, is the next in my series of film reviews. I'm super excited for this one, you guys. This week we'll be talking about If. Welcome to Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Well, no, not really. But the premise is very similar. When I saw the trailers for this film, that was my first thought. If anybody remembers that cartoon, that's exactly the vibe that I got from the trailer. And it actually is pretty close to it. But it's kind of got its own thing going on too. So, let's get into it a little bit.
What if I told you imaginary friends are real?
So our film follows a young girl, named Bee. And Bee, through a series of traumatic events and other things that have happened to her in her life, she now suddenly finds herself able to see imaginary friends. They call themselves Ifs. And these Ifs have been abandoned, left behind. Their children have grown up, no longer need them, have kind of all but forgotten they ever existed, now that they are grown-ups in the real world. So now that she sees them and she knows they exist, and so what do you do with that? Well, that's where the crux of our film comes in.
You have to help them.
Yes, we do.
Our little girl is played by a young actor named Cailey Fleming. Now, you probably know the name Cailey Fleming. She played young Rey in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And, of course, she is our Judith from the Walking Dead series. We watched her grow up on The Walking Dead, and that's a lot of heavy material for a small child to play. And I always thought she was very talented, and I was always looking forward to seeing more things that she would do. So the film was written and directed by John Krasinski, and I don't think I need to explain to you who that is, right? From The Office.
And Mom said too much candy isn't good for your tummy, but I said, oh my God.
Wow, my eyes can taste it.
I'm so sorry.
You don't taste that in your eyeballs?
Normally, this is the part where I start talking about the people behind the scenes and the work that they did and like score composers, all that kind of stuff. Oh, we're doing that. But this is going to be the lightning round, because there's not a whole lot I can tell you that you might not already know. I will be referring to my notes because there's a lot of ground to cover here. So here we go. So our cinematographer was Janusz Kaminski, who has been working as a cinematographer with Steven Spielberg since the 90s. In fact, has two Academy Awards for cinematography, one for Schindler's List and one for Saving Private Ryan. We have our score composer, which is Michael Giacchino. Boy, I hope I didn't butcher that name. You have probably seen his name in a million things. He has over 100 awards, including an Oscar, for his score work. All right, now we're only just getting started, because now we're going to talk about some of the people you do see on camera. We do get to meet Bee's grandmother, who took me a minute. She is played by Fiona Shaw, who some of you might remember as the dreadful Aunt Petunia Dursley from the Harry Potter films. And then there's some guy named Ryan Reynolds. Anybody ever heard of him? I don't know who he is. He must be the nobody on the cast. We'll just move on.
Oh my God.
So now that brings me up to the imaginary friends. Now, the imaginary friends are pretty much the majority of the characters you see. So this is a very special effects heavy film. Now, I will say this is all CGI. None of these guys are practically there. But that was to be expected. And honestly, it's a really good job of the modeling and the lighting. Kind of getting these CGI characters blended into the real world that you're looking at.
Am I disappearing? Oh, I'm not ready for this.
I'm not normally a fan of CGI art, but I gotta be honest, man. The stuff that they're pulling off these days, I think If really kind of sets a different bar for the use of CGI blended with the real world. It's really quite amazing. I cannot even begin with the names on this, the credits for the effects and post-viz and all this kind of stuff. There's got to be like 500 friggin' names there. I don't even know where to begin on who to credit, because I know how CGI works. One person does this, one person does that, one person does the other thing, and it makes a single photo. So I don't want anybody left out. I don't want to call anybody out too far ahead of time and make it seem like their work didn't matter. The one thing I did find, though, and I'm assuming this is important, is one of the special effects supervisors that's been listed, Conrad V. Brink Jr., which, as it turns out, worked recently on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Also worked on Men in Black International. With a lot of CGI in both of those. So obviously, this guy is leading a team. They know what they're doing.
Thanks for doing this.
Don't look him in the eye.
Which one?
So continuing with the imaginary friends. The CGI is half the job. Each one is voiced and has a distinct personality, as you would expect. This is a who's who right now. Again, we're still in the lightning round. I'm just going to throw a few out at random, just to give you a feel for what you're looking at. Ready? Steve Carell, Awkwafina, Emily Blunt, Bradley Cooper, George Clooney, Matt Damon, Keegan-Michael Key, Blake Lively. God, there was more than that. There's boatloads. Sam Rockwell, Maya Rudolph, Amy Schumer, Brad Pitt, Jon Stewart. There's more. There's so many more. It is literally just a who's who extravaganza of cameo voices. The designs of the ifs are so fun, and the various voice talents that came in were just extraordinary in bringing these characters to life. I'm a huge fan of animation. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but one of the things that makes animation work is the voice talent. You know, the beautiful artwork is only half the job. The other half is a voice actor who brings it to life, who gives it personality, who makes it real. And the imaginary friends in this film are a perfect combination of that. Each actor is paired with the right if, and it's great. I do want to specifically call out Louis Gossett Jr., who plays one of the primary ifs. And unfortunately, we all know he passed away recently. He is lovely. You can't miss his voice when his character appears. And I will give you the spoiler that there is a button after the credits. And the button after the credits will break your heart. It's unfair. It's unfair.
Alright, let's find these ifs and kids. Gee! What kind of kid creates an invisible if?
I don't know what it is about Ryan Reynolds that it seems like all he's got to do is, like, send it an email or make a phone call. And the next thing you know, half of SAG-AFTRA is standing at his front door to make a movie. I don't know what it is about Ryan Reynolds. I don't know what his mutant ability is that people just are like, yeah, and will flock to whatever he's got going on. But they flocked for this film. And honestly, if that's not enough of a selling point, just the amount of people and the quality and level of celebrities that involve themselves in this, if that's not enough for you, then consider this. This film is so wholesome. Like, it's pure. It is the sweetest thing I've seen. And it's not saccharine. Right? We're not talking like a Shirley Temple movie here. It's not, no, dear God. It's not that. But it's wholesome. There's something very pure and very kind about this entire film. And that's not usually my bag, okay? But when you can walk that fine line, between wholesome and after school special, right? And it does. It gets kind of close to that line once or twice. But for the most part, it really is just a really lovely, wholesome story. And I think that really is the most important selling point of it.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, shall we? Keith!
Rating system. Well, this was a challenge. Again, I don't like doing perfect scores. I guess, if I had to come up with a number, I think I'll go ahead and give If a 1 out of 5. I'm going to give it a 4. Only because I decided to break my heart with the button after the credits, and that was rude. But yeah, I'll go with a 4. It's good, you guys. It's really good. It's worth seeing. And I think you guys will have a good time with it. Okay, well, that's it then for this week. So I'll be back with more stuff in the weeks to come. I've got some pretty exciting stuff coming up, so if you guys want to join me for any of that, there's a button over here somewhere to subscribe. Go ahead and hit that, and you'll get notifications of when my new reviews go up. You'll also get notifications of anything else I decide to put up, because you'll never know with me. As you see my collection, there could be unboxings, there could be anything. All depends on my mood. All right, kids. Well, it was good. Thanks for joining me this week, and hopefully we'll see you next time with something new and exciting. Bye.